Hey, everybody, welcome to the VBSC podcast. My name is Greg Herceg. I am your host, also known as the Volleyball Strength Coach. And this is episode number 8 of the podcast where we talk about all things volleyball strength and conditioning. I'm here with the entirety of my coaching staff, which you will be hearing from them a lot today because we are doing a couple special things. We are going to be doing some Q&A today. So basically answering some questions from you guys that I thought were really good questions, could get us some really engaging answers. And so we've got 4 questions that we're basically just going to take turns having the coaches answer. And some of them are more personal, some of them are more practical, but I think they'll give you guys a lot of really good information about volleyball strength conditioning in general and a little bit of information about what we do. Now, before that, we have something even more important, and we have a new coach that we are introducing to you guys today. We've got Gerry over here, our newest VBSC assistant coach. So we are just going to do a quick little introduction for Gerry. He can tell you a couple sentences about himself, and he's basically coming on for the most part as like our beach volleyball coach. He does have a background in beach volleyball that I will let him tell you about. And then, we're going to kind of looking for more of that specialty as we continue to grow the business and grow the brand of having people specialize in different things. So, Gerry, you want to do a quick introduction here?
Yeah, so my name is Gerry. I'm primarily a beach volleyball player based out of Florida. Been playing volleyball about 6 years now. Attended school at Florida State University. During my time there, I've worked as a beach volleyball coach on and off for a while now, and then ran our beach volleyball club at Florida State. And then I was also lucky enough to be a student manager for our Division I beach volleyball team, which they're crushing right now. And I got to see some of the best coaches in the nation. So it's a little
Yeah,
bit about my
who were the
background.
coaches when you were there?
So right now it's Brooke Niles, Nick Lucena, and Travis Mewhirter. So probably the most
Some
elite
big names.
coaching staff by far for beach volleyball in the nation. So it's really cool just to see everything they have to say and all that. So
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that was again the one of the reasons that I was really interested in bringing Gerry on to the staff was just his experience with beach volleyball because we have some pretty high level beach clients that come to us. And so we want to make sure we can deliver very high level, beach volleyball film review or have a lot of that really personal experience of someone who does specialize in that. So pretty excited for that. Just to move on, we've got our 4 questions today that we're going to go through. We have them kind of sparsed out as far as who is going to answer and just a little bit about some different aspects of what we do. So just to get into it, question number 1 says, describe the moment you knew a client had genuinely turned a corner, not just physically, but mentally. And I'm going to start with Coach Sarah. I know you had a good client for this, so why don't you take it away?
Yeah, sure. Awesome. So when I knew a client turned a corner, so we had a client, I have a client who came to us with a quite significant injury in his past and was looking to be able to jump again and increase his vertical. And so he approached the program with excitement, but a lot of skepticism and just like kind of started some of the mobility work and just like was not feeling it, kind of hurt his ankle, didn't want to do it. And so in one of our one-on-ones, I just kind of pushed him. I'm like, you know what? You need to do the work if you want to see the results. And sometimes that means pushing through some of the discomfort, not so much you don't want to injure yourself, but you have to push through the pain initially in order to grow and to get onto the next level. So it was a bit of tough love. Next week's video session comes in and he's like, guess what? I did the workouts. It was amazing. Coach Greg was super supportive, but you were hard on me. You were pushing me. And he's like, and I did it. And it's just like, he's just kind of taken off from there. So it's just like, I just saw him like overcome that mental barrier, just have some very physical success. And now he's just doing very well in the program. So
Yeah, a
big
lot of
win.
times, like, people think that they're coming to us for like the information, like these super amazing workouts, which we provide. But a lot of times it's like those intangible things like the accountability, the actual coaching, and sometimes that tough love, where it's more than just like a good workout program. Because you can, with enough prompting, get AI to give you like a decent workout program, but you're not going to get all of those type of aspects from like a yes man on as robot, who just tells you that everything you do is amazing. So yeah, great job. That was really cool to see kind of from my perspective as well. So Dion, what do you got for this? I know you have one here too.
Yeah, I think for me, it was one of my first clients, and she came probably in like my first month, and uh, we were just doing some like film review one day, and Like usually when we go through film review, a lot of it is like skill or like technique based, but one of the things that I mentioned was just her body language in the film and uh, how like negative it looked. And it was one of those things where like after I mentioned it, she changed it like she just started thinking about it when she was playing from then on. And she noticed like a crazy difference in performance from then on because she didn't realize like how much body language is actually like a factor, not only in like your own head, but also like it speaks to your teammates, it speaks to your opponents, it speaks to everyone. And I think that um, there was a huge turning point there where like her performance started to drastically improve after that. And I think it's just like and it was a reminder that body language really is super important when you play the sport.
Yeah, and it can, like you said, directly affect your performance in the moment as well.
Yes.
It's not just the physical aspects that are going to positively or negatively influence what you're doing. So, yeah, very cool. I have a good one for this. I don't mind saying his name. Mike, who is one of my first 5 clients ever for our one-on-one elite coaching as we run it now. And when Mike started working with me, he was working out in his apartment gym and just kind of had that fear of going to a public gym, sort of like that phobia of like, working out at these big gyms, that gym intimidation type of thing. And we legitimately got to a point where I was like, Mike, you're too strong for your apartment gym. Like you've maxed out the dumbbells, like you can't do anymore. So we have to get you to a regular gym. And so he was like, okay, he was nervous. And then I made a big mistake of the first program that because it was just in our periodization of him going to a regular gym was French contrast training. And if you don't know what French contrast training is, it's not something that is comfortable to do in a public gym because you're doing like for example, like a squat and then a jump squat and then a weighted jump squat and then in like an assisted jump squat with a band. And so he came back. He's like, I really don't think I could do this. Like he basically almost didn't re-sign after his first 6 months because he was just so worried about having to do something so strange at a public gym. I'm like, okay, first things first, like, let's not do that. And what we ended up having him do is one, we had him set up a consultation with a trainer at his gym. You join a gym, you get like the free consultation or whatever. They're trying to sell you on training, but at least he can like meet someone and he can get used to the gym and the layout and everything. So we did that. Second thing we did was we changed his program where one, it was 2 days a week. He would still work out at his apartment gym. And then one day a week, he would go to the regular gym and just do more of like the basic exercises from there. And then that went to like one day at the apartment, 2 days at the regular gym, then like all of his days at the regular gym over time. And then the third thing that ended up happening is he started just bringing a friend with him to the times that he did go to the regular gym. So he didn't feel so weird about like doing, some sports specific things in the gym. And so at this point, so that was 6 months into his training with me. He's now been with me for 2 years and 3 months. So obviously he decided to continue and has been with me ever since because he was able to make that mental shift of like kind of getting over like doing, going to the gym and doing that weird stuff. And so that was like super cool to see him like really take control of that and make that mental transformation there. So good stuff. We're going to move on for the sake of time because we got 3 more questions to get through. Everyone was really excited about this one. Worst injury you've ever had and how did you come back from it? And I'm going to start with Cece because she hasn't gone yet. So let's hear about it.
Oh yeah. So, for some background, I played college volleyball at Bucknell University. It's in Pennsylvania. So this was my sophomore year. It was day 2 of preseason, and leading up into it and looking back on it, I think it contributed to the injury. But like the summer going into my sophomore year, I was basically training like every day. Like we get our summer packets. I was doing the summer packets, but then I was doing a lot more things on top of that I probably shouldn't be doing, and I wasn't recovering. So long story short, day 2 of preseason, it's like we were doing double days, and I think it was the morning session of our double days. I come down wrong from a slide and I tear my MCL, my ACL, and my meniscus, all gone, all 3 of them. And that was in August. And then I got surgery in September. So basically was out that entire fall season. And spent the entirety of my sophomore year doing PT and rehab and going through all the things. And mentally, probably one of the worst years of my life. Just because like being in like just being a college student, period, but then also being a college athlete, right? That's pretty much your entire identity. It's like it is your entire life is college sports. So not being able to do the thing that you came to college for was very, very difficult. But luckily I had a very, very supportive coaching staff, very supportive teammates, and was able to fully come back by the fall of my junior year. So I basically like that fall, I was, in my feels, pretty much like a pity party for the entirety of the fall semester, which, but then spring semester, I was like, all right, I can't change this injury. So I got to kind of get over myself and start putting in the work. So that is what I did. And basically just treated PT like it was my full-time job, outside of obviously being a college student. And so I was on the right PT track, met all of the benchmarks that I needed to meet. And then that summer is when I really took recovery seriously. And being a coach now, I also just harp a lot on recovery for my clients here, then also my athletes that I coach in person for volleyball, and just the importance of you don't have to train every single day, 3 hours a day in order to see progress. If anything, that's probably, again, going to put you in a place where you are more susceptible to injury. So I took my recovery just as seriously as my workouts, and lo and behold, saw more progress. And by my junior year, I was honestly playing better than I was before I got injured, and I was stronger than I was before I got injured. So, yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, really, really tough mentally to push through something like that.
Terrible.
Because it's like the saying that I love, where it's like when you're healthy, you have like all of these goals and these dreams and these wants and desires, but when you're sick or you're injured, you only want one thing, and that's to be healthy. And so it's like, yeah, just trying to overcome that mentally, to like put all of your effort to that. That's pretty crazy. Good for you. Sarah, let's go to you here.
Okay, yeah. So mine's very different life situation than Cece, but can speak more to like our adult clients here. So I had a soccer injury from playing soccer, blew out my ankle very badly, got kicked by another player, did a somersault, was carried off the court. Anyway, very bad injury, which led to just years long of just nagging injury, which brought me to my I was a nurse working 12-hour, 18-hour shifts in the ER on concrete floors, and severe lateral tendonitis so bad that when they palpated the spot where it was the worst, it was just mush. Like my tendon was just mush, and they thought they'd have to operate. I went to see sports medicine, a specialty clinic. So anyway, we decided to do some pretty heavy rehab physiotherapy. And then at that point, just at the end of that, I couldn't walk without pain, but I could at least function. And that, Greg, is kind of when I came to the program. I'm like, I have an ankle injury. I want to play volleyball. I hate this. What can we do? And so you kind of got me doing all the ankle stuff. And I took it so seriously. Like I made it like a job for me. I'm like, I'm going to do this every day that I can function. If any days off, I'll take days off. But I'm going to do this. And so to go through your program and to get so strong, and then to increase my vertical, to be able to, like, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but then to play some of the best volleyball I've ever played, where I had men tell me, because I'm co-ed, that like my hits were amazing and I can block on a men's net. Like I just never thought that kind of outcome was possible for me. That was in my mid 30s. Like I'm not young, I wasn't young anymore. And it was like, how can I do this? And yet I did. And so huge success for me. One of the reasons I'm here and why I love this program so much. But yeah, I'll stop there. But yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, Sarah came to me as a one-on-one client long before she ever came on as a coach. She was a one-on-one client, then like did the membership for like on and off for like a couple of years. Yeah. And then was just kept following up with me about, whenever I would post about coaching openings. So here we are. Dion, let's hear it.
Yep. So, Cece, I'm part of the knee gang here because I have torn my meniscus, I think, 6 times now. 4 in the right knee and twice in the left knee. Well, maybe 3 times in the left knee. It depends if you count 2 times like 9 months apart. But anyway, yeah, so it started when I was like 16 years old. I was doing a jump test in my gym class, and my right medial meniscus tore. I did like some physio for it. They told me that it would recover. And then like a month later, I tried to dunk a basketball, and when I came down, I tore it again, but it was really, really bad. So I had like no range of motion in my knee. It was locked at like 90 degrees for like a week or something. So anyway, then they decided that I needed surgery, so I got surgery on it. They repaired it, and then 4 months later, or maybe it was like 6 or 7 months later. Anyway, I was at a dance and I was shuffling, and lo and behold, the meniscus tears again. So anyway, that happened. I get surgery on it again. They remove the part that tore, and then I tear my left medial meniscus a month later playing volleyball. So anyway, this is just like all the time that I'm in high school. So anyway, basically from there, I had to decide whether I was just gonna quit sports, because that was definitely a thought in my head. Because I was like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this after all of this. But then in my first year of college, I decided I want to play volleyball. I decided to take it really seriously, and then I made the decision in my head that I wanted to play professionally at some point. So, yeah, persevering through all those, and then through 2 more meniscus tears after that. Here I am in France playing. So, yeah, I guess just the perseverance after so many things happen that yeah, that's the big thing with me. So
And this is what year of playing pro for you?
third.
Third year. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So
Yes.
coming
Good
back
season.
from a lot of adversity. You're hearing a lot of, kind of repeated themes of like, I had to make this conscious decision. Rehab became my life, like it became my full-time job, to work on those things. And not to leave Gerry out, because he said he hasn't had any really bad injuries. But I am going to jump in on this one too, because this is was sort of a defining moment for like this entire thing. And so I've torn both my calves, where my right one was an annoyance and my left one was much worse. But after I tore my first calf, I basically didn't really treat it like it was that bad. I sort of just thought it wasn't a big deal and sort of kept re-injuring it. And then was still doing a lot of different exercises to, like, my thought process being like, I never want this to happen again, because it just kept repeating. Like, I guess luckily in a sense, like all of the COVID lockdowns happened during that time. So like I couldn't play. And then in the summer of 2021, I was sprinting in my driveway and I tore my left one. And that was like almost, it was way worse because I was sprinting. The first one I was playing and I just stepped backwards. And it was almost like this existential thing of like, I thought I was doing everything I could to never have this happen again. Like maybe I don't really know that much about like training and injury prevention and like these type of things. And so it was like, kind of like Cece said, really hard mentally, because it's like I thought I was prepared for this, and lo and behold, the warning signs were there. I decided to ignore them. Did extra work on top of what was in my program, but that led me to actually using our membership programs, like the original volleyball ability program, to rehab that to the point where after 12 weeks, I actually jumped the highest I ever had since being a D1 college athlete. And so it was like the highest vertical of my essentially adult life, coming back of 12 weeks off of probably the worst injury I've ever had. And that was pretty, like, I realized how many gaps there were in my training knowledge. One of the big things that I started to incorporate is what we do a lot of now, is like those locomotive plyos, and training like that side of things. Because like I was doing calf raises and I was jumping, but I wasn't expanding my plyometric contacts to something where you're like moving more so, right? So then when I go and I sprint, like my body just wasn't really, especially as a beach player, not really ready for that type of impact. And so that's something that has become like a really much bigger part of what we do. And a lot of that is just like in a preventative measure type of way, like extensive plyo. So yeah, we're gonna move on because there's a couple I want to get through here. Next one is favorite volleyball memory, and we are going to start with Gerry because he hasn't had a chance yet. So let's hear it.
I have a lot of them that are very similar about like just traveling with our beach volleyball club when I was at FSU. We just all travel to the tournaments, but like this scenario's happened a few times, but late in the playoffs on Saturday, the whole entire team's watching and the match goes amazing, whatever. That's like the first section of it. And then just the transition to the day being over, the whole team goes and eats dinner and like you played amazing volleyball, you're exhausted, and you're with good people. That like combination like was like the foundation of like my favorite few volleyball moments, I would say.
Yeah, hard to beat something like that too, especially when you win, and then you get to eat food with people you like. Like that's like unbeatable.
Yeah. The day's over.
Um,
It's like so ready for the day to be done. Job's finished. Good people. You can't really ask for much more.
I love it. Is there like a specific one that comes to mind?
No, there was like that exact scenario was like four times where like super late in the playoffs, the whole entire team watching. Some we lost, some we won. But yeah, that scenario a few times for sure.
Very cool. Sarah, I know you had a good one for this as well.
Yeah, okay. So mine, I kind of alluded to a little bit on the last one, but so this one happened honestly probably about a year ago. One of my favorite memories. We were playing co-ed, again on a men's net. So just for context, and I remember I went up to go hit, and I hit. There was the same guy I was talking about before. He put up a block, and a guy beside him blocked, and I hit right alongside them and scored. Um, and then I blocked him next time. And I remember after the game, we're shaking hands, and this was like it's a good level volleyball. And he comes up to me and he goes, "You're a really good volleyball player." He goes, "That was amazing." I think he was just impressed that someone scored on him. But so he plays an elite from an elite club around here, and I saw his shirt and all that. So just I didn't need validation that I was progressing and doing so well, but just to hear it so organically, that was just it's a moment that stood out for me because as an adult, and I speak to all the adults here who are in this program and trying to do the things that we're doing, like kind of overcoming injury, increasing your vertical, and like these wins are still possible, like even here and now.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm gonna toss mine in here really quick before we get on to the last question. And mine very specifically was my junior year of college. I played for Ball State, and I remember we beat Ohio State at home in 5 sets, and I believe I had either 23 or 25 kills in that match in a 5 set match. This is coming off like 2 years earlier, Ohio State had won the national championship, and we had not beaten them in my career up until this point. So to like finally get that win, we did it as a home game, and then for me, like playing so well, like one of my highest scoring games of my career, that is like for sure a highlight for me. I felt it for a while, like took me a while to recover from that one, but for sure a highlight. I actually still have the video. One of my friends took it of me scoring match point to win that match. It's on like Facebook. I think I put it on my story once in the past too, but yeah, pretty solid memory there. So last one, this is the one that I'm most excited about. Not a lot of people wanted to volunteer for this one, but we've got a couple, and I'm excited to hear this. So what's something that I do or teach that you were skeptical about at first, but now fully believe in with the training style? And I'm going to go to Dion for this one. We're going to go Dion, Gerry, and then Cece. I do want you to jump in on this one too, if we have time.
Try pacing training.
Tell me more.
That's my answer. Yeah. Okay. So I really just didn't understand it at first. I didn't understand the applicability of it. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, I really just didn't understand why with wanting to just like when I think about volleyball, I think about wanting to just explode all the time. Like I want to jump as high as I can. I want to hit hard. Why do I need to slow the movement down or perform isometric holds? And yeah, when I first started the programming, I was like, this sucks. Like, what is this? And then I was like, later after I, became injury free and then was just dominating, then I was like, oh, maybe there is, some actual reason that this is a thing. And yeah, I think just like after going through the triphasic training, like actually training on the subject, um, I think I just understood it way more. And I would say that is probably the biggest one that I thought was, I was skeptical about, but now definitely fully believe in.
You guys want some more information on that? I know we have a podcast episode about that. I don't know which episode it is, but it's like early. It might be the very first one, actually, because we talked about our new advanced version of that system that we run. Gerry, what you got?
Mine, I was just a tiny bit skeptical at first when you told me. It was just saying how one of your clients you recommended for his knee pain just to do like multiple ISOs per day. And I was like, like I don't know if that's just like a little overkill, but I had a little bit of like flare up in my OS in my knee. Um, and it seemed to like it worked well for me. So now I'm a believer that if it's not working with whatever volume of stuff you're doing for your knee prehab, then just to up it a little bit more and give it a shot and see what it does.
Yeah, for context, if we have clients who come in particularly with like tendon-based knee pain, not only do we recommend that they do daily isometrics for 30 to 45 seconds, but also potentially like multiple times a day, where we've had clients go up to like 3, 4 times a day of doing different isometric holds like at their convenience, and it seems to work really well for the people who take it seriously. So last one here before we do have to hop off. Cece, for just again for context, my most veteran coach. So she's been with me through a lot of maybe changes to the system and things like that. So I would love to hear your response to this one.
Yeah, I think my biggest one, and it's not even a skeptical thing, it was just something I didn't know a ton about, was like the deep tier plyometrics. Because as an athlete, like I was always taught just like regular plyometrics, like just like that faster, higher impact plyometrics. So when introducing the deep tier plyometrics, I was like, this isn't really doing much. But then I did it for myself and I was like, this definitely is doing something. So, and I've seen a lot of progress with our clients doing those deeper tier plyometrics as well, and actually really enjoying them and seeing a lot of progress, not just in their vertical, but also like in their knee pain as well, and in their hip mobility, joint mobility, etc. And just being able to handle some of those like deeper tier landings when they're playing. So I've seen a lot of progress, both myself and with our athletes, in adding those deeper tier plyometrics.
Very cool. They're fun too. They're quite fun and they feel quite athletic. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we have another podcast. If not, I plenty of Instagram posts about deep tier plyos. Awesome. That is all we are going to have time for today. I really like this setup. I like giving you guys a little bit more mic time. So I think it's cool for me to hear and hopefully cool for the audience to get to know you guys a little bit more, because realistically, for the most part, like they obviously have contact with me, but if anyone's going to train with us, they're going to be working with one of you guys as their kind of their head coach, their lead coach that they're working with. So, to get to know you guys a little bit more, I think is pretty sweet. Last thing really quick, if you just want to let people know where they can find you on Instagram, like if they want to go follow you, want to check out more, let's just go down the line and let them know where they can find you. So, Coach Sarah, you can go first.
Yeah, sure. My fitness page, I've kind of moved a little bit away from that one. So now I'm just made my volleyball page, and that one is at Volleyball Coach Sarah.
This is on Instagram.
CC. On Instagram.
I'm at Coach CCVB, that is CECEVB on Instagram and TikTok.
Gerry.
My Instagram is at Gerry Plays Beach.
Dion.
At Dion Lala.
DionLALA. And
Yes.
I am at the Volleyball Strength Coach on Instagram and YouTube, and then VB Strength Coach on TikTok, which I guess I'll start posting on there more. But appreciate you guys for listening. We will be back next week for another episode. And then make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the uploads. And then if you're listening to this on the podcasting platform, make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. We'll see you next week for another episode.